but I can't get the backward slide to make any sound. And you're like, don't worry about that. I said,
Mhm.
okay. And, in a few weeks it came. It just
Yeah.
kind of, it doesn't all come in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
That's so cool. That's great, Kathy.
my name is Kathy Jesmonth, and I've been playing banjo for a little over 4 years. I picked it up as a retirement hobby and started just self-teaching myself the banjo because there are no real banjo teachers in the area where I live. And I was watching something on the internet one day, and I saw Alison play Here Comes the Sun. And I was like, banjo doesn't have to be like that bluegrass fast driving stuff. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point. I came into this, I'm 62 years old when I started playing. So I don't have a whole lifetime to get the speed down and get up to that point. And that was a little discouraging in the beginning. And, but I saw Alison doing that, and I came to realize that banjo, and as I listen to music, banjo's everywhere. It's in all kinds of music, and it can really raise the level of any genre that you attempt to put it into. And so I just thought, wow. And then I also, at the same time, somehow heard about Alison was going to start teaching on this platform called ArtistWorks. So I looked up ArtistWorks, and I said, maybe I'll give this a try. And so Alison started her program, I think it was the end of July in 2023. I think it was. And so I was one of the ones that I didn't do a beta test, but I was one of the first ones to sign up after it had been beta tested. I would have done the beta test, but I didn't really know about it. And got going with banjo. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to do the videos. I'm a very nervous, low confidence kind of player. And when I played in groups before, like in a band, I'm in the back playing percussion, or I'm in the back. I'm not really, I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do video. And after about 3 weeks of doing the lessons, I'm like, I'm not really going to get better if I don't start doing some of these videos. So I made my first video and started submitting those. And I went back and counted last night. I've done 28 in the time that I've done it. And I have found every single one of them to be extremely valuable. You don't have to be at performance level on any of the pieces. In fact, it's probably not a good idea to wait till you're performance level, because you might learn something improperly or develop a bad habit. That you submit the video when you're ready to get some feedback. And so you don't have to play it perfectly. And so going with that, still nervous about doing the video, I started submitting the videos. And I really have found that the videos are most helpful for me. What really helps me, Alison, is the fingerings for the left hand are not in the tab. And so understanding the flow of the fingers, one finger per fret, how to finger things, and the fingering tips you give me on each of the pieces I submit are very, very helpful, because the right hand is tabbed to some degree. So that I can see. And I do anxiously wait for your feedback. And I know sometimes you're busy and you're like, oh, you don't get to it as quick as you'd like to. And you always apologize for that. But I always, whenever I get my email that it's in, I'm like, oh, yay. And I stop what I'm doing and I watch it right away, because I'm always interested to see what you have to say. And the other thing that two other things about the video. One is I don't use it just for me. I watch all the videos that you do. And I think you've done 490 of them. I watch all of them because, one, I watch them first to say, I bet Alison will say this about that. I bet Alison will say this. And then I watch what you say, and I pick up tips from those videos as well as from my own. So I've learned a lot of things from what others have done. And the other thing that I wanted to say about the video, I just figured this out, and I wish I had known this sooner, or wished I had figured this out sooner. Once I submit you a video, I don't practice or work on that song anymore until I hear back from you. Because what I've learned is I learn something incorrectly, or I develop a habit that is so hard to unlearn once I get your feedback. So I'd say the last 4 or 5 videos, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on something new while I wait for feedback from you. Then I'll give you that something new, and I'll go back and work on that piece. And I have found that to be much more helpful, because at my age, it's hard to unlearn things.
Or learn things. I mean, I can relate. It does get harder.
It
Well,
does.
I mean, I'm always so happy to see one of your videos pop into Kathy, because it's really cool. We've been working together for almost 3 years, coming up
Yeah.
on 3 years. And it's been great to see the progress you've made, and I really appreciate your kind words too. I hadn't really thought about the left hand not having any fingering,
Mm.
but that's a really, really good point. And that's something that I think that you don't really think about. A lot of the left hand stuff I didn't really think about until I started teaching
Mm.
people more regularly, to like realize the order, even the order you put your fingers down when you grab a chord, there's some logic to it. But if you've been doing it for as long as I have, you've forgotten what the thought process is. So it's really been interesting to like try to remember how that all works and explain it. So I'm glad you found it edifying.
Well, and good or bad, I'm very tab reliant, although I'm finding it's much quicker for me to learn songs now. I'm not with a tab as long as I was when I first started, but I
Hmm.
started with the Hal Leonard books, and
Hmm.
he did number out, or he or whoever did the tabbing did number out the left hand like what it was, as well
Hmm.
as the right hand. So that was helpful for me in the beginning. So when I left that series and started working with ArtistWorks, I didn't have that anymore. So I was, just kind of figure it out.
Right, right. And how would you know? I mean, a lot of this stuff you kind of learn from doing, but if you're just starting, it's so nice to have somebody shortcut that for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't have to go through all that unnecessarily. So that's,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, one of the great things about ArtistWorks is that we have this rapport, and we've met in person a few times now. But even before we met for the first time, I already felt like I knew you, and we had a relationship, which I feel like a lot of times, like I'm a perpetual student of jazz guitar, and I do the videos, but when there's nobody talking to me, talking back at me and kind of coaching me and pulling me along, it's really, really hard to stay engaged. But when you feel like you have a relationship, it just makes it so much easier. And that's one of the things I've loved so much about doing the videos is developing relationships with people, first on the screen and then in person. And it's just really gratifying, because the whole thing about playing banjo for me has just been being part of this tradition and the link in the chain, and getting to kind of take everything that people have given me and then play it forward, just the way you will do and other people will do. And that's really the beauty of, to me, of this instrument.
Yeah. And that was definitely, I've said this to you before. It is fascinating to me and a surprise to me when I came into this that those of you who are at the top of the game are spending time with us who are just starting out. And that really means a lot.
Yeah, well, that's because when we were starting out, I went up to JD Crow and he said, "Here, try my banjo." And I'm like, "What? JD Crow's letting me try his banjo?" But there's just so much generosity of spirit in this community, and playing it forward is a lot of what we all really it's a privilege for us to get to do, because then we get to kind of pass along what the time that people have given us as we were learning. So it's so
Great.
great.
It's great. I do think about And Here Comes the Sun, and that isn't part of,
Hmm.
that wasn't a song as part of the repertoire that Allison put together for us to study, but just realizing that some of the fingering are bars. Like I'm not paying attention. I'm so
Hmm.
focused on each note, I'm not paying attention to shapes. And I think you've done a lot with that, Allison, with me on shape. Look at the shape of something. And by the way, when you're going in and picking that little part out, I think it's like the fifth measure, Here Comes the Sun. By the way, I'm still working on that. That is a great song, and I spend a lot of time on it. But I guess I would say one other comment on particular VEs would be I think it was on Sally Ann sliding, and also on what's that other one? All the Sallys, Sally Johnson, I think it is.
Yeah,
Keeping your finger, you just can just slide, you just stay right on the string. You don't have to lift your hand, right?
yeah.
And just the
That,
sliding motion and coming back on Sally Ann, you're going all the way up the neck, dun, 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 with a four, and then you're
mhm.
bringing yourself back, and you don't have to lift your fingers that much.
Yeah, that's another one of those tricks for just like not having to stare at your hand, just like using your have the finger per fret kind of idea, and keeping your fingers on the strings whenever you can. Way I can keep my middle finger on the second string and then just slide it back, and that kind of orients my whole hand so I don't have to stare at it. Even though I probably am staring at it anyway, but I think I'm a step closer to not staring at it. And Sally Johnson too.
Yeah,
That idea of a track for your finger, just moving up and down the track.
up and down,
Yeah,
and not
that's.
not to worry. Like on the slide, I had said to you on Sally at one point, I can't get the backward slide to make any sound. And you're like, don't worry about that. I said,
Mhm.
okay. And, in a few weeks it came. It just
Yeah.
kind of, it doesn't all come in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
That's so cool. That's great, Kathy.
I think it's important once you do a few of the lessons and you learn what your instructor, in my case, Allison, is trying to convey, you start to see those things missing, right? In like if someone's beginning, like, oh, I know she's going to talk about the chicken. I can just see that. Right. So it confirms, okay, I'm taking care of that chicken. I'm still doing that, right? It confirms things that I've learned, and it kind of, allows me to, makes me like go back and check and make sure that I'm doing that. So there was a couple of video lessons I watched this week where I'm like, oh, I got to go back and check because I'm not sure that I'm doing that on that song. I did that a while ago. So it's very helpful to learn from others. So I like watching someone else to see what I think Allison might say. And then I like watching to see what she actually says. Sometimes I don't have to watch the whole thing because she's talking about the chicken, but other times I'm like, oh, I missed that. Like when I did. So it's very helpful to look at it from two perspectives. What do you think you're seeing? And that comes from a teaching aspect. When you're a teacher, you kind of lay out a lesson and you kind of do a pre, you say, okay, what do you notice here? Or what do you know already, right? And then from there you build the learning. So I think that that is really helpful. So I think one of the things that I would say to a person who is a little on the fence is don't let the VEs scare you. The VEs are there for you to learn. They are not there for you to be performance quality. My name is Kathy, and I'm an ArtistWorks student.